And we're back. Welcome back, everybody, to Swansea Beat. We appreciate all the support that we've had, all the likes on Facebook, follows on Twitter, and subscribers on YouTube. If you can, like this video, share this video, leave a comment if you disagree with any of these guys or myself. My name is Dustin Rubio.
I'm Alex Thomas.
And this guy is...
Adam Humphreys.
Yes, Adam Humphreys. Thanks for joining us. Adam Humphreys actually is the guy who basicly runs our Facebook page.
He runs Swansea Beat.
Basically, this is the face of Swansea Beat. So when we're not putting out episodes, he's the one who's just kind of putting stuff out there.
Just
really
does everything, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good content, different things that's happening. So thanks for...
all the hard work.
All the hard work and joining with us today.
Cool.
Special guest in the house. Right. So, gentlemen, we haven't done a video
In a while.
but I think in all fairness,
My
if
bad.
if we would have been doing videos every week, it would have been the same video
Yeah.
every week of us saying the same predictions, the same
Look at
recap,
those.
same preview, same thing. So now we are like 4 games.
Yeah.
We're recapping. We won't go through details of each one, but I guess just general overall.
Yeah.
So what are the teams? What do we?
Well,
last one we did was Stoke.
Yeah, Stoke lost 2-1, West Brom 1-0, Man City lost 4-0, and then Everton lost 3-1. So,
Yeah.
great 4 games. Absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
But guys, Boney's back.
Yeah.
Boney's back and he's gone.
And he's got again. We had the almighty Leroy Fur,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
I saw on Twitter somebody posted. I forgot who they are because I put them on blast. But they posted out being like saying something about Fur, like and just talking trash. And then he literally scored 4 minutes after, and I tried to go back, deleted it. They deleted it. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of say some stuff. So, right, we lost. I guess in the game, let's just talk about some positives right away. So we beat West Brom. They're at a transition stage. They got a new manager within the last few weeks or whatever, and Pardew and
When you look back on that game, I honestly believe that we did okay. It wasn't amazing. I think just West Brom somehow managed to be worse than us. I think.
Yeah.
I think Pardew. Pardew was just coming in. I think it was his second game in charge when he played Swans. I believe it was his second game. He played quite a dodgy formation, 4-4-2. And I think it was just so basic that somehow we managed to exploit it. It was just, Barney's goal was good. Obviously, it came from a corner, and he effectively smashed that shot. Like,
Yeah.
he went for. I think it was kind of lucky when we think about it. I think it was just good timing of the positioning. I don't think that was him instinctively. I think that was just pure luck of where
I
he
thought
was.
his reaction wasn't even quick.
Yeah.
Like his whole body was like he's like, oh, the ball is free, and he went in there. And I thought if there were more defenders there, I felt like they would have cleared it out. I felt like for some reason all the defenders were preoccupied with something else, guarding somebody, and the ball just so happened to be right there, and he was the only one there, and he just kind of jerked back to run, and then just smashed it. And I'm glad it didn't go over.
I don't know if he was being smart and thinking if I leather it, it may go on the top, or he just instinctively just went, I'm gonna smash it. I think he got very lucky in his goal, but I'll take any goal right now.
I'm happy for the 3 points, but I'm not impressed with. I wasn't impressed with our performance. Yeah, I think I would agree with you. It's just a team that had a terrible performance. They were worse than us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess in the Man City, there's Man City. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they are set records right now.
Yeah.
Fair play to them, Man City. I think that's one team you can't discredit right now. They are just phenomenal. Even yesterday against Leicester, even though they just won on penalties, I think it was like nearly not really a sub side, but it was quite a lot of players they don't usually play playing. Like Gundogan was on the first team for once.
For change.
Yeah, and they had Bernardo Silva as well. So I was just like, okay, this is definitely a sub squad, and they still managed to win.
Yeah.
It just shows how good Pep is, and in that Swansea game, I think you literally just go over every single position. You just we're outmatched in every single position.
Yeah.
We can even argue, Fabianski's a bit better than Edison. We say, let's be realistic in what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
Edison is class, even though he's a random transfer in the summer. We were all like, what?
Yeah, no, he's been a revelation for the league. I think he wasn't on my radar. I knew when there were talks of him coming. You know the team where he's coming from. He's coming from Portugal.
Brazil.
Was it Brazil?
Benfica, Portugal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Benfica,
Sorry.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Benfica. So you're just kind of like, right, it was a team, because they had Porto, Sporting Lisbon, and then they have Benfica, like the three teams that we all know, you know?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I knew, he's coming from there. They produce some good players, you've seen some good players come from there. But he's been a revelation. Yeah, but he's been a revelation for the league. But I think even more than the game yesterday that Man City had with them, I thought what they did to Tottenham, I think was for me to be like, look, 4-0.
4-1.
No, 4-0 against us
what?
wasn't that bad, because I think for me, if we would have did a preview for that game, I would have been like, my head says about 8-9-0. I don't know how we're gonna deal with them, and whether I don't know, but and they could have had a lot more goals against Tottenham, if Sterling would have got some of those. But it's Man City. What are you gonna say? They're playing good.
And the next one, Everton. I think you're just talking about Big Sam. It's just the effect he has on the team. Sigurdsson was a screamer. I think we all saw that one coming.
Yeah, it was just so obvious, and again, Callum Norton. I mean, praised him a couple of games, and I know it's gone back to him being sloppy again.
I always find with Swans players that they have it's like, when they're on form, they're really on form. Like, they do great. Like against Tottenham, our defenders are on form. Then there's the other games where you're horrendous. There's no in between. Like it's like a Shelby. You have amazing Shelby scoring long shots for days, or one that's going into row Z. All you don't get an in between with them. And I just feel like that's just Swans at the moment.
Yeah.
It's really and it just turns out every single Swans player is having one of those horrendous games. So what can you do?
But I think, and I think the thing is we're looking for, and what we need is consistency. We need the players to be consistent. They don't even need to be great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think even for like a right back, they just need to defend. Just defend. You don't have to be this new fullbacks now that can be attacking as well. I just want you to defend. End of the day, have a little bit of pace. Make sure your legs can last the 90 minutes, but defend. And we're so inconsistent.
I think we still talk about, we can't find a starting lineup that's consistent. Like that, we've always had changes in most games. The only time we didn't really change our squad was after the West Brom win, and we stuck with it, and we lost obviously against Man City. That was guaranteed anyways. But I feel like he doesn't know his best midfield. He doesn't know his best strikers. He doesn't know whether to play wingers or not. And even with defenders, like he's just like Van der Horn or Fernandes, or I've said this a few times to you now. I'm looking forward to Carl Bartley coming back, because I want him to be in the starting lineup.
I think this is the other thing with Clement. When our best players that should be on the pitch, they're on the subs. This is the only problem. Players like players like Lucanio, players like McBurney. They need to be getting game time just to redevelop. It's annoying, really.
I think Clement has finally got a good point where he started Messer now. He's actually getting consistent games. Like, I know people were hating on the Everton game when he cost the penalty, I think. But overall, when you look at the performance, it was actually okay. I think you can look at all the Swans players and you went, well, none of them are good. So we can't say, we had a decent first half, but you can't overall say, oh yeah, they're about an 8 out of 10. We lost 3-1. No one's going to be an 8 out of 10. That's one squad.
Tom Carroll.
Tom. Forget that guy at the moment. But I'm happy Mess is finally playing. Like, he's an £11 million signing. That's the player we need to play.
Yeah.
When you say about McBurney, he in the Premier League too.
Yeah.
He's been great. He's been fantastic, and I've always said this. Like, he's hungry.
Yeah.
He's hungry to score goals, but I feel like it's a massive step up. Like, even though I've shown my concerns about Tammy Abraham a few times, I know Tammy Abraham's a step up from Ollie McBurney. Like,
it's just true. That's fine.
I think I'd be with you. I think you got to give him a go. I think even against we got Wolves coming up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we probably aren't as good as them. And I think in those games, I think we need to take them. And this might sound bad, and you might disagree, but I think we need to look at it as a friendly. And this is what friendlies are for: is to find is there new things that we could do? And I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to try a new formation. I could care less about a cup right now. It's survival.
I know.
And I think McBurney, and I think we need to try a different formation, or maybe not even a different formation. Maybe we need to do what we did against West Brom, because if we abandon it because we lost with that formation against Man City, I mean, anybody can do your best formation, your best starting 11 against Man City, and chances are this season you're going to lose. But I think, I'm with you. But I think it's with the right opponent, and I think Wolves could be that.
And plus, as well, there's just the lack of minutes McBurney gets. I mean, like if you think, when was the last time he's had a starting lineup? He's always been played as a sub.
Yeah.
So, and
I think, like Dustin said, I think Wolves is his best opportunity to prove a point. But I think it's gonna be in the management's head. It's like, we're versus a championship club, even though they look better than us right now on points, and even the squad. I'd say Wolves have a better squad than us. It won't be hard right now, honestly. Like, they're high flying, top of the championship.
I think they know. I think the coaches know they're probably a better team than us.
I think if McBurney scores, good for him, but I don't actually see that transcending into him being like, oh, I'm going to give you a chance in the first team against, well, I don't know what the game is after. I think it's quite a big game after the Wolves game. I'm not too sure, actually, but every game's a big game at the moment. So it's just like, so it's
anything can happen, guys.
I feel like we walk into each game now, it's just like, oh, it's a do or die game, and then we lose, and we're just like, okay, the next game's a do or die game. Okay, the next game's it's just like, we need something. Honestly, I would happily play all of the under 23s. I would happily.
I've heard people say that. I've heard very knowledgeable, long-time Swans fans that say that they would be like, let's just get the under 23s because they might have more fight. They might have something to prove, and that's why, like, even with the McBurney, I'm thinking, look, it's in those games you saw Messi very young. You seen Sterling. You seen when people get their chance, they're hungry. They're fighting for that, because not every young footballer is actually going to have a career. After they hit a certain, even 20, 21. At the top flight, and I think, look, he might have something to prove, and we'll never know unless we play him. And if we had a good team, chances are he would never play, because we have a good team, but we don't. We're not playing well, and who knows how bad this bony injury is. And if Abraham, who's been injured already, like, what if he gets injured? We're gonna put Ayew up front, and then who's there to support him? I don't know. I think to put McBurney in on that match, but
I can Tremel should go up front, bring him back once.
Or me, just sign me up, please.
Van the Hornet striker, come on, guys, we can do it.
But I think I don't know. I think maybe just transitioning from the recap and going into, what do we do going forward? There's a lot of, I guess, just frustration. Like, people are very, very upset. I mean, you hear about the Yanks, the American investors, which it's coming to light that there's 27 of them, which isn't rare for some businesses and people buying clubs. I mean, it's rare that you have these real big individual tycoons with all this money that can buy a club, or a family owned club. Sometimes that's what it is. They have silent investors you don't know about, but ours are actors. We're finding this out now. But I don't even think that's a big deal. I think it's only a deal now because we are already frustrated. I think that it's just another thing. It's like more stuff keeps happening, and we're just kind of like, what the heck? And I'm hoping in January it's just like night and day. Hopefully it's just completely different, season. But I feel like the only way, I'll say this, and I'll let you guys say what you want to this, but I feel like when we're looking at some of these teams that were struggling earlier in the season, maybe even a few weeks ago, your Crystal Palaces, your West Hams, teams like that, they were down there in the bottom three. And what's been the difference? What's been the change in some of these guys playing well? Is there been a change in management? I mean, because obviously their team hasn't changed because there hasn't been another window yet. But they've changed management. You've seen a lot of teams do that. I mean, Everton, you're starting to see loads of these guys doing that. And it's risky, and some did it early on. But I think we haven't done that. And I feel like that could come back to bite us because, I feel like they obviously aren't going to play for him. If they're not playing for him now, when we need those points, what makes you think they're going to all of a sudden now be like, you know what? We had a good January transfer window. Because I thought everybody, even in the Swans team, you know, you heard Ayu being like, oh, I get to play with Boney, you know, and there was a lot of excitement even with Sanchez, you know, there was a lot of excitement, and there had been with the players. And you think all of a sudden now we're in December, you think all of a sudden they're going to be like, you know what, Paul Clement, this is the guy from Bayern Munich, you know, and with Ancelotti. I mean, that whole honeymoon period is completely gone. Like, it's just, it is. And I think for me, and I'm not for people losing their jobs. I'm sure he can get another job somewhere else. But I'm just thinking this isn't working, and I think we need to get somebody. And something we said before, I've said before, was Tony Pulis is still out there, you know. And I think if we want to get somebody who saved teams before,
going back to your point where you said the change in management was the difference, I think another difference is the reason they've done so well. These managers come in with a much better squad. Like when you look at the quality of players between Everton and Swansea, it's stupid. Like you know, they've got a Rooney, we've got a Tammy. You know, they've got a Sigurdsson, we've got a Tom Carroll. You know, and even West Ham. Like fair play to David Moyes, he's turning it around now. At first, everyone was a bit critical, but now he's been picking up results. Obviously, he lost against Arsenal yesterday in the FA Carabao Cup, but you know he's been winning against Chelsea. He's been picking up points against Arsenal, the 0-0s, you know. And like I said, they have a much better squad. Arnautovic, phenomenal player. But, you know, as much as people may find him overrated or something like that, once he's on form, he is good. They even have a Chicharito in the background, like ready to go and pounce. They have a Lanzini, they have a good defence. You know, even though I know West Ham fans say they don't really have a great defence, but with Moyes, he's a defensive-minded manager, so he will have you know, Winston Reid performing at his very best, you know, and even their left back, you know, no one really heard of him until last season. Masuaku, phenomenal player, like a really good player. He can deliver crosses, and that's something we don't have. Even who else has changed their manager lately? When I think West Brom,
I don't know.
Yes, we beat them, but I feel like you were saying earlier about how good they did against Manchester United. They put up a fight. They only lost, what, 2-1? Was it 2-1? Yeah. You know, I feel like they're a good side.
They're in transition. Yeah. And that's the difference, though, I would say. I understand the point of those teams have better players than us. But I feel like there are other teams, in theory, we should have better, you know, Huddersfield.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you think of some of these newly promoted teams, and we're thinking, you know, I know Boney hasn't played consistently in the last few years, but you're thinking, it's Boney. You know, you think of people like Sanchez, and you're thinking, right, he hasn't had a good start, you know, with us now, but you're thinking he was playing against the best internationals in the Euros or whatever, you know. But I feel like if we get a manager who can get the team performing, I feel like, I mean, we've survived before in the Premier League, and we didn't have great. Think of our first season. You know what I'm saying? Think of our first season. Think of the players we had now. Is our team now, not performance-wise, if we just lined them up, would we say our team now is on paper better than that team before? No. Because weren't we not? Weren't we not?
It's debatable, really.
But that's what I'm saying, in theory. Because weren't we in September being like, this is the team, we just won, we're going to shock everybody. Now there can be a bit of a biasness or we can lean towards being like, no, they were better back then, because we are now, you know, it's tainted by the performances that we're seeing. But I think if we go back to September and we go back to some of those first episodes, we would have been like, this might be, other than Loudrops, you know, when the Michu and all those guys are playing, we might say this might be one of our strongest teams we've had. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we have necessarily a bad team. I think we're just not performing. The same way Everton weren't performing. I'm not saying our team is better than theirs, but the same way the Belgium team is amazing. On paper, why aren't they winning the World Cup? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are teams like that. I just feel like we need a manager to get us playing right, you know?
And
it's just my opinion.
Well, and the thing is, same as Crystal Palace. And the funniest thing is that, and it boggles me, because they were in the bottom with 0 points. Now they get Roy Hodgson, and now they're out of the top three, and now we're in the bottom. So well, I mean, thing is, for Roy Hodgson, for Paul Clement, like I said, we're not moving forward. We're going in the wrong. I mean, like I said, even if we have a win or draw, we never go forward, to getting another 3 points. We just always lose.
Yeah. I think it's just even when we do get a win, it seems like it's a lack of motivation to actually, like Anna said, move forward. It's almost as if like, we've won, we can relax now. You don't have a clue then. It's almost as if like you don't know what you're doing. We can't just say, like we were over the moon when we drew against Spurs. Like we treat it as if we like won the World Cup or something. But after that game, we didn't move forward with it. We didn't go, that was a solid defensive point, let's keep that going. And then the very next game, it was atrocious. I'm just like, how do you go from such good defence to like League 2 standard defence? And I'm not beating around the bush. That was one of the worst defensive performances I've seen. Some of the worst defence I've seen this season is from Swans. We can abuse the tackle we want, but at the end of the day, if the defence is not delivering, we're screwed, because we're conceding at the end of the day.
And that's the hard part, is because I felt like in the beginning of the season, again, I'm just trying to remember where our head was at earlier in the season with some of our episodes, and we said one of our strengths right now is our defense. We just need to get the offense, the attacking in place, and we will be fine, But I feel like we burnt out our defense because we literally would just hold a wall and hoping that they could hold up. And it's just like, I don't know. Or maybe they just lost hope in Clement. Who knows? I mean, sometimes managers, we've seen that with Mourinho. We've seen that with managers, big managers, where somehow they lose the dressing room. And that's it,
I think me and you have talked about this before from the Man City game, is that even though we were expecting to lose, there felt like a lack of... I think
attack, really.
Lack of attack, and I think you pointed out. Danny Murphy said in Match of the Day something like not enough yellow cards. We weren't actually in their faces.
And like I said, we did the same against Everton. No tackles. Like like I said, no drive. Just to attack. We
weren't trying to win the game. Almost.
It's like we're going into every game hoping for a draw. I think that's how we honestly feel when we go into every game. I can honestly see us walking into Palace and saying, I'll take a point. Not the fans, but playing.
So do you think realistically, and I just, I feel like I'm still stuck on the Clement.
Saga,
I feel like that could change things, honestly. I feel like, and I understand there are teams who've done that, but they have better squads. But I feel like, again, I am still sold on, we still have a pretty good squad. I mean, let's be honest here. We've seen players come into different teams and we'd be like, oh, they're terrible. Di Maria, at Man U, or Schweinsteiger. We would say stuff like that because we're thinking in the moment, the current performance they're doing. But we've seen people, Guadrado, we've been like, oh, he's not that good. And then he goes off to Juventus, and then he plays against like Man City, or he plays against British, Premier League teams, and he makes them, makes defenders look silly because he is a quality player, and I feel like we do have good players. And I feel like if we can get them playing, I just don't think it's Clement is the guy. And when you say, both you guys are saying we're going into these into these games almost as like we're just looking for a draw. And I feel like if we don't have the guy, we said this in episodes before when he did his press conference, if we don't have a guy who's really believing it and he's saying all the right stuff, but again, anybody who's fighting for their job is going to say the right stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody would. And I feel like at this point now, I don't care what you say, you need to show it. And I think, and not just when we score a goal or something, or that one time we scored the goal against West Brom, and he gets all passionate about it, where I feel like, of course you feel like it's less pressure on you. But I want to see that from the word go. I want to see that in your press conference where you're mad, do something, snap back at a report, do something. Show me that you're not just defeated and being like, we're trying. We're doing, what I'm saying? That's why for me, again, I'm not anti-Paul Clement. I'm sure he can go to a different club and make something happen, but I feel like right now, this ain't it. And I feel like the longer we hold on to him, I feel like we are more destined to go down. And I would rather try something. If we go down, we go down. And if we get a new manager and we still go down, at least we tried. I just don't see him getting in. I mean, realistically, who is he going to bring in? Really, to change things around, because he's not going to be able to bring in 6 players or 5 players. You know what I'm saying? Like to completely go into. I know he said that we're looking for players to go straight in, and that's great. I agree with that. But the board isn't going to give him that money to bring that in, because even if he brought in 3 players, he still has majority of the players on the field, he needs to get performing. And if he's lost them, then what's the point? So I rest my case. Hopefully the board see that, and we can get a new manager in, somebody that's experienced in the Premier League, can get some people in, and we can make something happen. Cause
Ancelotti in.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. But yeah, we will be putting out a Crystal Palace preview. Should be out this week as well.
Yeah.
And again, apologies for the lack of episodes, but at the same time, you'd be thanking us because, they would all sound the same, pretty much like this.
Yeah.
But anyways, come on, Swans, let's get it. 3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam, for joining us. Adam Humphreys is the man. Like it, share it, this video, and subscribe. Swansea beat.